I started by asking Jared Kushner about the start of his new book, where he talks about his father and the fact that he was incarcerated.
Jared is such a hidden genius that no one understands.
Jared Kushner has now been confirmed as the Antichrist, a figure long prophesied to emerge at the end of days. This leader is said to unite the world, appearing as a savior bringing peace and order. His charm and influence will convince people to follow him, believing he holds the answers to humanity's problems. Will the one praised as the world's redeemer soon show his darker side? We are going to reveal the hidden agenda of one of the most powerful men on earth. Is the Antichrist among us? Many believe that a figure known as the Antichrist is already among us, subtly blending into society. Conspiracy theorists often point out that certain global leaders could be fulfilling this dark role at this very moment. According to them, there are numerous indicators that suggest we might be under the influence of the Antichrist, who is in a position of power and merely waiting for the perfect opportunity to unveil his true intentions. Prominent figures like Emmanuel Jean-Michel, Frédéric Macron, and Elon Musk are often mentioned as likely candidates for this dubious role. Before we dive deeper into this, the truth might be even more chilling than expected, and what comes next will truly leave you speechless. In our next video, we plan to thoroughly explore these widespread theories about the Antichrist. We'll look closely at the characteristics attributed to these notable individuals, their links to significant worldwide events, and why so many folks are convinced that our current times might be leading up to the prophesied events. We aim to piece together the clues, examine the signs, and assess whether the Antichrist might actually be here, secretly preparing to take over. Emmanuel Macron, in particular, is a name that pops up often in these discussions. As the president of France, a country that plays a vital role on the global stage, he is a figure of both admiration and controversy. The internet is abuzz with videos and theories that propose he could be the Antichrist. Personally, I think this is quite a stretch. Macron is a divisive character whose popularity seesaws wildly, both in France and internationally. Regardless of political biases, many describe his demeanor as distant and somewhat detached, almost devoid of life. This impression hardly fits the biblical description of the Antichrist, who is supposed to be a charismatic leader capable of captivating an international audience and manipulating even the most skeptical into believing in him. According to religious texts, the Antichrist won't act alone, but will be paired with a character known as the false prophet, who will advocate for peace and unity. Together, they are expected to bring about a false peace that spans the globe. Frankly, Macron doesn't seem to fit the bill for such a role. His leadership has been marked by domestic instability and a lack of strong, steady support, making it hard to imagine him as a leader who could unite countries under a single cause. Those who argue that Macron might be the Antichrist often cite his political prominence as the leader of France, one of the world's top political and economic powerhouses, as a key factor. His re-election to a second term underscores his enduring influence. Furthermore, his frequent media appearances, where he discusses controversial topics and tries to shape public discourse on issues like climate change, international politics, and European unity, are seen by some as efforts to craft a narrative fitting for a global leader. One of Macron's notable statements after beating Marine Le Pen in the elections was, "From this point forward, I am not just the candidate of one party, but the president of everyone." This kind of rhetoric is what some expect from the Antichrist, who would supposedly use such messages to charm and win over the populace. Another point of interest for conspiracy lovers is his wife, Brigitte Macron, who is significantly older than him and was once his teacher. This age difference and their unique personal history fuel further speculation about his potential hidden agendas and the dynamics within their relationship. Additionally, the name Emmanuel, meaning God with us in Hebrew, adds another layer of intrigue due to its deep religious connotations. For many conspiracy theorists, the fact that Macron's name carries such significant biblical resonance is seen as a potential sign of his deceptive nature. Although his actions and public persona don't necessarily align with the charismatic, magnetic leader depicted in prophecies, the symbolic weight of his name continues to stir speculation. As we dig into more rumors and worries, let's look closely at a major person in this problem. Kushner's temple plans raise alarms. Despite all these discussions and theories, I remain skeptical about Macron's likelihood of being the Antichrist. His political role is undoubtedly prominent, but his polarizing nature and limited appeal within his own country seem to contradict the characteristics expected of the prophetic figure, who was supposed to be universally beloved before revealing his true destructive nature. To help you better understand and navigate these complex times, we're offering an exclusive perk to our subscribers, a digital ebook titled The Secret Behind the Holy Bible. This book is filled with profound insights into biblical prophecies and is designed to enlighten you about the realities we might be facing. It's a limited offer with only a few copies available, so act quickly. To get your copy, simply click on the link in the first pinned comment below. This opportunity won't last forever, and the availability is dwindling fast. Make sure you don't miss out on this chance to gain a deeper understanding of the signs and events unfolding around us. Secure your ebook today and be better prepared for what the future might hold. Jared Kushner, once thought of as just a wealthy heir and the president's son-in-law, is now often talked about as possibly being the Antichrist. It sounds wild, but here's why some people think that. Kushner is no stranger to the limelight, often caught up in heated debates and holding a lot of sway in powerful circles. What stirs up even more talk is his deep involvement in global politics and big international deals, which kind of matches the scary descriptions of the Antichrist found in the Bible. Now let's dive into who Jared Kushner really is. He's not just any billionaire's son. He's got a strategy and plays a significant role on the world stage. Being married to Donald Trump's daughter, he's got an inside track to significant political influence. Kushner's ability to maneuver behind the scenes in world politics and his Jewish background make him a figure of interest, especially considering some interpretations of biblical prophecy that suggest the Antichrist will have connections to Israel. Kushner has been heavily involved in some major global negotiations, particularly those involving Israel, where he's played a pivotal role. This brings us to a pretty intriguing point about him. Kushner has shown interest in rebuilding the temple in Jerusalem, a project that many prophecies say will signal the arrival of tough times. His efforts in forging a peace agreement between Israel and several Arab countries during Trump's presidency were key. These peace efforts are seen by some as a sign of the temporary peace the Antichrist is predicted to create before chaos unfolds. When you ask people, who could be the Antichrist? A lot of fingers point to those bringing peace to historically turbulent areas. Kushner's role in smoothing over tensions between Israel and its neighbors is something you can't just brush off, especially given its scriptural significance. He was the linchpin in a deal that changed decades of hostility into something more peaceful, which is exactly the kind of thing many believe the Antichrist will do at first, seem like a peacemaker. There's another dimension to consider. In recent conflicts involving Israel and the militant group Hamas, the reaction from Arab nations has been more subdued than before, likely an effect of the peace deal Kushner helped put together. His ability to influence both sides of the conflict is not only rare but incredibly important, suggesting he has a unique role that could have significant implications. And then there's the fact that Kushner owns a building at 666 Fifth Avenue in New York, a number with ominous associations in the Bible as the number of the beast. While this might just be a coincidence, it's certainly fuel for those who follow conspiracy theories and are on the lookout for signs of biblical prophecies coming to life. This building, standing in one of the most influential areas globally, symbolizes power and wealth and adds to the narrative that Kushner could play a significant role in end-time scenarios. Whether you believe in these prophecies or not, Kushner's actions and their alignments with certain biblical predictions make him a prime candidate for discussions about modern-day interpretations of the Antichrist. Turning from politicians to tech giants, let's check out a leader whose big plans might change everything. Musk is trying to control us. Switching gears, let's talk about another high-profile billionaire, Elon Musk. Known for founding companies like Tesla and SpaceX, Musk is a figure who commands both attention and controversy. He's known for his unique, sometimes controversial ways, and for jumping headfirst into major global issues, whether it's tackling climate change or advocating for free speech. Musk's involvement in these global discussions positions him not just as an innovator, but also as someone who could potentially fit the mold of the Antichrist, especially considering that he's not a traditional political figure, but still wields considerable influence. Some might wonder if the Antichrist has to be a politician, but Musk's blend of corporate power and involvement in global issues shows that influence can extend beyond political offices. Describing himself as a mix of Democrat and Republican, Musk shows he's not bound by conventional political ideologies. His ability to navigate various sectors, from technology to politics, gives him a unique position that could see him playing a larger role on the world stage, potentially aligning with some of the broader, more influential actions associated with the Antichrist. While he might not be everyone's favorite public figure, his vast influence and innovative mind make him a person of interest in these discussions. In today's world where everything is digital and connected, having control over technology could mean having control over the future of entire countries. Let's talk about the world of satellites for a moment. Elon Musk, with his high-tech companies like SpaceX, has a satellite network that's bigger than what many countries have. He has more satellites orbiting the Earth than some whole countries have managed to launch. These satellites manage stuff like GPS, which then helps run the world's banks, guides planes, ships, and even affects the weather reports we watch every morning. All these things rely on satellites and the GPS system. Just think about what could happen if someone with control over these satellites decided to use this power for bad reasons or to change the world in ways we've never seen before. That gives an incredible amount of power to just one person. The story doesn't end there, though. Musk's idea to put chips in people's brains through his company, Neuralink, really gets people talking, especially those who are into doomsday predictions. For these folks, Musk's plan looks like it could be a sign of him being a bad guy who wants to control people from the inside. These brain chips could, in theory, let someone control how people act, what they think, and even how they feel. Things no one has ever controlled completely before. People who are worried about bad forces taking over see this tech as a big red flag, like something out of a prophecy about a world ruler who uses high-tech stuff to take over. If this all sounds a bit too much, just remember that Elon Musk already influences a big chunk of the global economy with his other businesses. Tesla is changing how we think about cars and energy, and SpaceX is reshaping how we explore space and communicate across vast distances. Now picture him also controlling people's thoughts with brain chips, owning the skies with his satellites, steering economies with his groundbreaking tech, and even getting inside people's heads with his implants. This would be a level of control that's hard for most to even think about. Religious texts even mention that under such a ruler, people might feel so secure and self-sufficient that they think they don't need spiritual guidance anymore, which could lead to less faith overall. With Musk pushing the envelope with new tech, there might come a time when people feel so empowered by science and technology that they think they don't need to rely on higher powers anymore. Faith might really be shaken in a world where people, backed by tech pioneers like Musk, believe they have all the answers. Even though Musk has said he's open to the idea of a higher power in an afterlife, he clearly leans more toward a scientific view rather than a spiritual one. This stance makes some people see him as a key player in potentially reducing the world's reliance on faith. After exploring leaders and peacemakers, let's focus on a famous person who stirs up strong feelings all over the world. Trump's role in peace sparks fear. So is Elon Musk the bad guy of the prophecy? It's tough to say for sure, but one thing is clear. His drive to dominate the world through economics, technology, and possibly even mind control is something we can't just ignore. As he continues to push the boundaries with his innovations, everyone is watching closely, wondering just how far he's willing to go in his quest for power. Let's shift our focus to one of the most talked about figures, Donald Trump. The ex-president of the United States is arguably one of the most influential and contentious personalities in the modern world. Whether you love him or hate him, Trump never fails to stir strong feelings. He's not just a politician, but a cultural icon, representing a significant era in history. Trump combines aspects of the three other candidates we've previously discussed, reflecting a mix of business acumen and political prominence that makes him a major player internationally. Trump's economic and political influence is vast, making him a towering figure on the world stage. It's no surprise that many people speculate about his potential return as the leader of the most powerful country, the United States. With a dynamic personality and a unique kind of charisma, he has the power to rally large groups, sway election outcomes, and shape global politics. The possibility of his return to the political arena always sparks intense debate, adding to his complex image. Additionally, Trump's involvement in peace deals in the Middle East is crucial. Like his son-in-law Jared Kushner, Trump played a significant role in the peace agreement between Israel and several Arab nations, a topic often brought up in discussions concerning prophetic figures in religious texts. The Bible describes a peace broker who might resemble the Antichrist role at the end of times, which raises intriguing questions about Trump's involvement in these pivotal agreements. Could his actions be a prelude to more significant and possibly troubling developments? Also, we can't overlook that unforgettable moment when Trump, caught up in his usual boldness, looked to the sky and declared, "I am the chosen one." Some interpreted this as a simple display of self-belief, while others read into it a deeper, more self-assigned messianic role. This statement made headlines around the world, fueling discussions among both his fans and critics. Indeed, who else would confidently call themselves the chosen one in the open, under the watchful eyes of the public and cameras? Trump's connections with Israel and its leaders are notable too. He's visited Jerusalem multiple times and has always maintained strong relations with the local authorities there. This is particularly relevant since some interpretations of prophecy suggest that the Antichrist will have a special connection to this region, which is central to many end-time scenarios. Coupled with the broad impact of his policies and actions, this makes some people wonder if he could indeed be the prophesied Antichrist. Though many consider Jared Kushner as a possible candidate for this ominous role, Trump's profile might more closely match the descriptions found in religious texts. The Antichrist is often depicted as a charismatic, powerful individual who can both unite and deeply polarize people, a description that fits Trump with his direct, often provocative public statements. Furthermore, biblical passages suggest that the Antichrist will display a disregard for women. Trump's track record, filled with various contentious comments and scandals related to women, only heightens these speculations. If that's not enough to pique interest, consider this peculiar fact. A commercial in Japan once declared Trump to be the president of the world. While some might brush this off as a coincidence or a clever marketing gimmick, for those who lean towards conspiracy theories, such odd details are viewed as possible signs of a grander scheme being orchestrated behind the scenes, waiting for the right moment to unfold. This brings us to a crucial question. Could Donald Trump, with all his distinctive traits and his prominent role on the international stage, really be the Antichrist? Or is he just a larger-than-life personality whose influence and character are often misunderstood? As these coincidences continue to surface, it's up to us to interpret the signs and decide what they might mean. The clues are there for anyone who wants to see them. The father-daughter alliance. Ivanka Trump and her dad, Donald Trump, share a very close relationship that often makes the news because of their personal and work-related ties. They've been in the spotlight together because of their business, political, and media engagements, and some of their interactions have sparked debates due to their unusual nature. From a young age, Ivanka was immersed in both the public and private aspects of her father's life. Growing up in the public eye, she became a key player in the Trump organization, working closely with her dad and brothers in their real estate ventures. As a kid, she wanted to be near her dad all the time, often calling him every day and visiting him at work. This bond only grew stronger as she got older, with Ivanka becoming a prominent figure in her father's business ventures and on his TV show, The Apprentice. It seemed like Ivanka was always trying to impress her dad, staying close to his side. When Donald Trump decided to run for president, Ivanka's role became even more significant. She was a major player in his 2016 campaign and later worked as a senior advisor in his administration alongside her husband, Jared Kushner. In this role, she had a lot of influence and often defended her dad's decisions and comments, showing deep loyalty even during scandals. Many people noticed that she appeared to be her father's favorite, a view that Donald Trump himself seemed to confirm by often praising Ivanka in ways that some thought were over the top. A particularly tricky part of their relationship has been how Donald Trump has talked about Ivanka's looks. He has made several comments that have made people uncomfortable, like joking that he might date her if she weren't his daughter. These comments, along with others praising her beauty, have led to criticism and raised questions about the appropriateness of his remarks. Despite these issues, Ivanka has consistently supported her father. She backed his policies and often spoke for him during his time as president, showing a strong image of dedication and loyalty. Her close relationship with her dad gave her a lot of sway in both the business and political realms. During the Trump administration, she was seen as a key influencer, often involved in high-level discussions and seen as one of the few who could change her father's mind. However, not everything about their closeness has been smooth. Some have suggested that there were moments when their interactions seemed a bit too much for a father-daughter relationship, leading to speculation about the boundaries of their bond. Some insiders and analysts have noted that Ivanka might have used her dad's affection to stay influential in his circle. Throughout her father's presidency, Ivanka's identity as a businesswoman and political figure became tightly linked with her father's public image. This blending of roles added complexity to how people saw their relationship. Her story from being just Donald Trump's daughter to one of his key advisors showed both her ambition and her reliance on his approval. Her central role in Trump's circle has been both admired and critiqued, with some wondering if her success is purely her own or heavily aided by her father's support. Over the years, the dynamics within the Trump family have been closely watched, with Ivanka often being seen as the favorite child. Unlike her siblings, Ivanka has always had a more prominent voice in both family and business matters, setting her apart. Her leading role in the Trump organization and later in politics has led many to believe that she is Donald Trump's closest confidant, a position she seems to have worked hard to maintain. Despite her unwavering support, Ivanka has sometimes shown concern for her dad's health, urging him to take better care of himself, especially regarding his diet and busy schedule. This aspect of their relationship shows a more personal side, where Ivanka mixes her loyalty with her wish to see her father in good health. As Ivanka tries to define her path beyond her father's presidency, the complexities of their relationship continue to captivate public interest. Whether seen through their business dealings, political activities, or personal connections, the bond between Ivanka and Donald Trump has shaped their lives significantly. Though filled with challenging and peculiar moments, their relationship has endured, highlighting the strong influence they have on each other. While their family ties have been watched closely, Donald Trump's legal troubles are bringing even more attention to what he did. His legal wars are just beginning. Donald Trump is facing quite a few legal battles that are getting a lot of attention. These issues are complicated, involving many serious claims that could impact him heavily. Let's break down some of these legal challenges. One of the major cases is about alleged fraud involving a payment made to keep someone quiet during the 2016 elections. This case was kicked off by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, and it's a big deal because it has led to Trump being labeled a convicted felon. He was accused of creating fake business records connected to this payment. His sentencing is set for September 2024. This timeline is crucial because it matches up with the last part of the 2024 presidential race, a time when he would be campaigning hard to win the election. Even if he's given a jail sentence, he might not start serving it right away. There are expected appeals that could drag the case out for years. Another big legal issue involves how Trump handled classified documents after he was no longer president. This case is managed by special counsel Jack Smith, who has charged Trump with several crimes linked to keeping national security information unlawfully. These charges come from Trump not giving back classified documents that were held at his Mar-a-Lago estate. Trump is accused of trying to hide these documents from federal authorities when they asked for them back. Although this case initially seemed straightforward, it has become complicated because of delays in court procedures and decisions made by U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon. In 2024, Cannon dismissed the charges. But Smith has appealed that decision, and the case is still open. The result of this case could be very important, especially if Trump runs for president again and wins in the upcoming election. Trump is also involved in a highly publicized case about his efforts to change the outcome of the 2020 election. He and several of his associates, including some close allies, are charged with plotting to overturn the election results using false claims of election fraud and pressure on state officials. In Georgia, District Attorney Fani Willis has charged Trump and 18 others with racketeering, claiming they worked together to try to change the election results. This case is notable because of the wide-ranging claims and the large number of people involved. If convicted, Trump could face serious penalties. However, the trial might stretch into 2025, which means it wouldn't interfere with his immediate political plans. Another case focuses on Trump's actions related to the events of January 6 at the Capitol. This case is also overseen by special counsel Jack Smith and centers on charges of conspiring to defraud the United States and obstructing an official process. This case looks at Trump's involvement in efforts to stop the certification of the 2020 election results and his role in the events leading up to the violent attack on the Capitol. The trial is expected to start in 2024. While it might not affect Trump's ability to run for office directly, it could have a big impact on his campaign by focusing public attention on his actions during those critical events. All these legal troubles come at a time when Trump is trying to maintain or regain his political influence. Each case has its own set of facts and legal questions, but they all center around Trump's actions during and after his presidency. The outcomes of these cases could affect not just Trump personally, but also the political landscape in the United States. As we watch these cases unfold, many are wondering how they will impact Trump's future, both in and out of politics. Will these legal challenges disrupt his plans for another run at the presidency? Could the trials and their outcomes affect how people view him as a leader? These are questions that will be answered as each case progresses. With the 2024 election coming soon, Trump's civil lawsuits are adding more challenges to his political comeback. Trump faces huge lawsuits. Donald Trump is caught up in several civil lawsuits, including some notable ones like the case brought against him by writer E. Jean Carroll. Carroll claims Trump defamed her and assaulted her sexually, and in 2023, a jury agreed with her. They decided Trump was responsible for these actions and awarded Carroll $5 million. There's another defamation lawsuit where Trump was ordered to pay even more, $83.3 million in early 2024. These are just part of a long list of legal issues Trump is dealing with, and although they don't threaten jail time, they do pose big financial and reputational risks. Trump's 2024 presidential campaign is deeply affected by these legal battles. His legal team is trying all sorts of tactics to delay or overturn the cases, hoping to push them past the election. But it's not clear if these efforts will work out. The judges in charge have made it pretty clear they're not going to let Trump's campaign schedule dictate the court's timeline. For example, Judge Tanya Chutkan, who is handling an election-related case, has insisted that the court's schedule will be a priority, even though Trump wants to put off the trial until after the election. Despite all these legal problems, Trump still has a strong base of political support. His supporters argue that the lawsuits are politically motivated, aimed at hurting his chances of getting back into the White House. On the flip side, critics of Trump believe that these legal actions are necessary to hold him accountable for what they see as his wrongdoings. The outcomes of the criminal cases in particular could have serious effects on Trump's future in politics, possibly leading to jail time or other penalties that could stop him from serving as president again if he wins the election. As Trump campaigns for the 2024 election, he's also having to deal with the demands of these ongoing court cases. His defense team is actively involved in various legal maneuvers, trying to delay the immediate effects of these cases on him. Some of these legal battles are getting closer to their end. For example, sentencing in the Manhattan hush money case is scheduled for September 2024, and other important cases related to election interference and handling classified documents are likely to go to trial in 2024 and 2025. How these cases play out in the next few months will likely have a big impact on the political landscape as we move closer to the 2024 election. The legal troubles facing Trump highlight the complex situation he is in, not just as a former president, but also as a current candidate. The charges against him range from financial fraud to interfering with the election process to mishandling classified information. These paint a picture of a politician who is deeply involved in legal troubles, with potentially wide-reaching consequences, not just for him personally, but for the overall political environment. As these cases progress, they are expected to draw even more attention from the public, the media, and political analysts who are closely watching the outcomes and what they might mean for the 2024 election. The decisions made in the courts, along with Trump's legal and campaign strategies in the upcoming months, will play a crucial role in determining how these challenges will impact his future ambitions. Trump's legal landscape is incredibly complicated. His ongoing legal battles are a major issue in his attempt to return to the presidency. They involve both serious allegations of criminal behavior and civil disputes that could cost him a lot financially and damage his public image. With the 2024 election approaching, the way these legal issues unfold could be critical not only for Trump, but for the broader political climate. Everyone is watching closely to see how it all turns out. knowing that the results could change the course of U.S. politics in significant ways. Is Barbra Streisand shedding light on something the media doesn't want to discuss? Or is this just another case of selective outrage? Could her claims about Jared Kushner reveal even more hidden truths about the Trump family's time in the White House? Tell us what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.